cloudy and it's cold today, so I decided I would do some museum trekking. Right now, I'm headed for Victoria and Albert. So apparently Victoria and Albert is doing an exhibit on Mary Quant, the famous fashion designer. And let me tell you, I thought some of those clothes were wild, yet pretty awesome. I'd wear some of those. And then right after that, I took a walk through the sculptures exhibit, and then I came upstairs. I explored 18th century England, and then I saw a display on British comedy. And now I've ended up, I believe, in 17th century, like post-Renaissance England. I don't know if I could call it Age of Discovery, but that's where I am right now. I really love taking trips through museums because they're like a trip back in time. When I was exploring 18th century England, I actually felt like I was walking through an actual upper class 18th century home, and it was so beautiful. I felt so immersed in it. Also completely forgot to mention that during the comedy and humor exhibit section, they actually have these special telephones that you can pick up, and you can listen to different comedians about their views on Britishness or whatever, like be it the government or culture, or and I listened to one of them and it seemed pretty intriguing. Look at those clouds out there. I find it ironic that it's going to be really cloudy today, yet there's no chance of rain whatsoever, which I think is pretty weird. It doesn't look like it's going to rain out there, but we'll have to wait and see. For some reason, there seem to be a lot of mirrors on display in this museum. Not that there's anything wrong with that, though. Right now, I'm walking through a special firework exhibit, and it shows everything from simple decorations to gates to fences and even keys and locks. They have these really giant keys right over there that are actually locksmith signs. These ironworks all come from like demolished buildings or buildings that were rebuilt or restored or whatever. Can't really find the right word. Hope I did get it right though. And I gotta tell you, they put a lot of effort and detail into all of these. Really, it's really interesting. Wow, look at this. And this was created by mankind. It's amazing what we can do, huh? And even back then, we didn't have any machines to help us, so we had to do it all by hand. Incredible, isn't it? And look at this. I love glass art. Now I'm exploring medieval England. Look, staircases and balconies. Okay, so now I'm in my favorite spot of the Victoria and Albert Museum, the John Majewski Garden. I'm gonna turn around. It's a nice, beautiful, open space. There's a cafe over there. And right behind me, there's a special paddling pond. I think it's only open in the summertime though. And of course, it's now September, which means it's going to be closed until next year. So I think I'll just spend a little time out here before I head back out and possibly go do something else. Okay, now I'm off to the British Museum. This is a little weird about me. Usually I wear my bag on my other shoulder.
Please have your tickets ready.
But my shoulder's starting to cramp up, so I figured I'd give it a break. Ow. And wear my bag on this side instead. Fun fact, the British Museum is actually not too far from the buildings where my classes were held when I studied abroad 6 years ago. Now I'm just getting a quick snack at Wasabi. What I'm eating right now are strawberry cheesecake mochis. They are so good. But I've never ever seen or had these in the States. They're only exclusively in Great Britain, which is really, really sad because they are so good. Might as well cut through Russell Square to get to where I need to get to. And it is so beautiful around here. I love the British Museum. It's one of my favorite places to visit in London, but believe it or not, I don't think I've ever been to any of the upstairs galleries before. So I'm going to be checking them out today. Let's go. Look at all these ancient writings. I think this might be cuneiform, but I'm not 100% sure. I took a reading course my first year of college, and one of the things that they brought up was cuneiform, which is said to be the first ever alphabet, unless I'm mistaken. We've got a great big story going on up there. I guess this is what inspired comic books, maybe. So I'm visiting the special Japan exhibit here at the British Museum, and I've encountered this really beautiful display known as the Time Waterfall. Wow, this is beautiful. Let me state for the record that I love Japanese artwork. This area that I'm in covers modern Japan. Look at that. And now look at that. Manga-inspired artwork. Take a look at these. Very, very beautiful. And back to the main gallery so that I can show you all of these. I really, really am nuts about Japanese culture. This kind of reminds me how back in New York City several months ago there was an exhibit on the tale of Genji by Murasaki Shikibu, which is said to be the earliest novel ever written, and I really, really, really regret not seeing it when it was still around. But I guess there's other things to explore in this world, like this scroll right here. Look at the paintings on these vases, whatever. I always feel compelled to study history again whenever I walk through a museum. I remember there was a time in my life where I went through a period where I did not care about social studies or history at all, because in second grade I took a standardized test and I scored really, really, really low on social studies, so I figured, why bother? I'll just give up and not focus on it. But then when I was in middle school, I had a really, really, really great history teacher who was always encouraging me to try better at it, because I think he knew that I was a lot better than I thought I was. And as much as I do not like to talk about my high school days, I had the same history teacher for high school, and it was one of the things that I really, really, really excelled in besides math and, of course, drama. I always got straight A's in history because I buckled down. I studied because he knew that I had potential, and I did. And now I love history. Here's my favorite part of any museum: drama. My face whenever I see anything related to drama. And now it's time to look at something. I don't know if you can see that there. Clock related. I am in the Sir Harry and Lady Janelle, don't know how to pronounce that, gallery of clocks and watches. I love, love, love looking at anything physics and mechanics related. It's just so interesting to watch. And that's why I love this gallery. Nice face, man. Fact, I've always wanted a grandfather clock, but they do cost a lot, unfortunately. I don't know why, but I really, really, really love looking at all of these classic print books. May they be from either 100 years ago or even 1,000 years ago. I love, love, love the gift shop at the British Museum, and I always feel tempted to go on a spree whenever I come here. But this time, I have to ring myself in, since I already spent enough at the Harry Potter gift shops. I thought someone was staring at me for the minute. But anyways, I spent way too much at the gift shop at the Harry Potter Studio Tours this time around. So, I'm gonna control myself and ring myself in. Wouldn't you know, I'm about to pass by it, the building where my classes were held when I studied abroad. And I think I remember eating at this restaurant over here once. Scoff and banter. So yeah, the FSU London Study Center. It's right up here. These are where my classes were held. Kind of makes me wonder if Drew is still doing their classes here too. And right here, L. Cornell & Son is an art shop that I used to visit. Yep. Okay, so right behind me is Urban Tea Rooms. I managed to find this place on Kingley Street while I was trekking around, and I managed to get a pot of tea and a scone for a really, really, really good price. This place is small, but it's actually really nice, and it kind of reminds me of home. So if you're ever on Kingley Street when you visit London, check this place out. I recommend it.